What's up with the sports world? Y'all know what it is, man. I'm FanDuel Zaiah. I got SEC Sean here. We are back with another episode of 12 Rows to a Title. How you doing, fam?
Man, we going. It's getting a little trickier every week we do this. It's getting a little bit more narrowed down and harder to put people where we think. But we're gonna do the best we can do and see what comes up.
Nah, facts, man. Y'all know what it is, man. This is y'all WTP Sports Dudes, man. We gotta shout out the crew before we get into it. Rod with WTP for Life, JoJo Mossberg with Level Up Sports 10, Parlay Poe of the Blitzberg Podcast, Post Game with the Post Game 86 Podcast, and City League TV. You can find him on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, man, listen, we had some crazy games go down yesterday. You know, every week we done did this. We done seen brackets change up, but we're gonna bring a little different style to the people this week. You gonna project your bracket based off the aftermath this week, and I'm gonna try to project the final bracket, how it's gonna look when the last what is it called? The last episode of the college football playoff committee show comes on. So we're gonna try to give them a different version of it because we've been having the same bracket. Nobody want to see the same thing twice, man.
No, I mean I think really the only thing we've done is it's been the exact same logos in different spots. That's
Exactly.
so. So this is, I think, a better option. Is I'll take the weekly projections as we go, and you'll go with how you think they're going to put it at the end, and then we can see where we're at. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Without further ado, let's get right into it, man. We're gonna start with Sean's bracket. Got it up here on the screen. As y'all can see, his first four teams out. He got Michigan, Miami, Texas, USC. You see Texas and USC, Michigan right on the outside, maybe Miami as well. Why you got those guys on the outside looking in this weekend, after this weekend's aftermath, and let me know what you got, what you got going on.
Well, I think, I've got Michigan sitting right there on the cusp because, I mean, if Michigan were to win out, I think they'd obviously move in. But I've got them out right now because they've still got that one big challenge right at the end with a team that's going to wind up on this bracket somewhere. I'm sure everybody knows where that team sits. Miami.
Michigan survived a close call this weekend, too.
They did. But I ain't going to say nothing about surviving close calls. If you look at Miami, I think Miami moved up a little bit. They were 15 last week. They were in actually as an at-large. I think they moved up a little bit for me because the ACC kind of stabilized at the top with Georgia and Virginia, or Georgia Tech and Virginia, where I'm pretty sure one of those is probably going to say win the title. I still think Miami's going to get an at-large. I'm just not 100% sold yet that I want to put them in over a Notre Dame that seems to be playing better than most teams in the country right now. But people can yell and scream and throw things at me because they got the head-to-head. I get it, but I just look at the eye test. Texas, I've got Texas hanging on. They actually should be below USC, but that's my mistake there. I've got Texas holding on. Because I believe that if a 9-3 team gets in, I think that's the one that would. I don't see it happening now. I really don't. And I'll explain that later on once we get done with all the brackets, if we got a minute, how I look at it break and complete. But and then USC, I threw them in there because I don't think you're going to get anybody else from a different conference. And I think USC and Michigan would be the two teams from the Big Ten that could slip in. And Texas is the one from the SEC. So that's why I have those as the first four out. There's not going to be another team from the ACC or the Big 12 getting in. It's just not going to happen.
All right, it's a 12 and 11 seed. You got North Texas as that group of 5 team, and then you got Georgia Tech out of the ACC. You said that's your lone team. So go ahead and speak on those.
North Texas, I think they've got the inside track as the G5. I think it's going to come down to that conference and the Sun Belt, where Jacksonville or James Madison plays. But I think the American Conference is a much tougher conference compared to the Sun Belt. So I think they're going to wind up being ranked higher than James Madison in the committee ranking. And Georgia Tech, I've got Georgia Tech right now as my champion of the ACC. I slotted them in as 11 because I believe it's probably the weakest conference that's going to get an automatic, besides the group of 5. It's the weakest of the Power Fours.
Okay. At 10 and 9, you got OU and Ole Miss, respectively, both out of the SEC. Go ahead, kick it to me.
OU had a pretty impressive win going on the road and beating Alabama. They were on the edge last week of being in. They were, I want to say Texas was 10, they were 11 in the committee's rankings, not necessarily mine. But after going on the road and beating an Alabama team, I feel like that pushes them in for now. They've got 2 games left against 2 teams they should handle pretty easy, so that's going to put them finishing at 10-2. I think it's going to be pretty hard to leave a 10-2 Oklahoma team out with a win on the road at Bama. I think it's going to be hard to leave them out.
Absolutely so.
And then Ole Miss. Ole Miss has been in this thing since we started. They've been the 4th best SEC school the whole time. Ole Miss is locked into this bracket. They are locked in. They are not going to make it. They're in.
It's just about where they're going to be placed at.
That's exactly where it is. And I don't see them. Well, I can't say that. They're there for me because, of course, I had to look at my numbers for matchups. I'm not going to put 2 SEC teams or 2 Big Ten teams playing each other. And I split the conference.
Right. Yeah, we talked about doing that too. I think I did a better job with that as well this week.
I know the first week we did this bracket, we were having rematches of the conference championship games. Some of them played in the regular season. I was like, we gotta fix it. And you're like, yeah. So we started paying more attention, and I think we finally got it figured out after 3 weeks.
It worked itself out after some weeks, and some teams lose. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's easier when you start eliminating teams you got to put in this thing.
Right. At 8 and 7, you got Oregon, which is your first Big Ten team in these rankings, and then you got 7 independent Notre Dame. These look like some good first round matchups as well.
And that had something to do with it. The 8, Oregon is the 3rd best Big Ten school. Could they be higher up on this list? Maybe. They don't really have a real signature win. And they do have a loss to a top 2 team. I'm not going to knock that. They have a loss to a top 2 team by 10 points at home. But I want to say their best win so far is Iowa. So I slotted them at 8. Plus, I like that matchup. That just looks like a fun matchup in the first round. I'm not even going to lie. Notre Dame at 7. Yes, I have Notre Dame in as an at-large. Like I said, the eye test. They're playing, I think, some of the best football there is right now. I think them and OU would be just a classic. 2 blue bloods of the sport. And it'd be at South Bend. I think that would be a phenomenal matchup in the first round.
Okay. At 6 and 5, you got Bama and Texas Tech, respectively. Go ahead and speak about those squads.
Dropped Bama. I dropped them 2 spots. They did lose to a team that is good, Oklahoma, which is in the playoff bracket too. It was a close loss. Yes, it was at home. I just don't. I couldn't see dropping them below 6. I did leapfrog 2 schools in front of them, so that's why I put Bama at 6, and then one of the teams that leapfrogged them was Texas Tech. I moved Texas Tech into the 5 slot this week. Just think Texas Tech's just dominating people. Every win they have on their resume, every win is by 20 points. That's crazy, man. So that's what we do.
But
with
how
those.
tough? How tough is it though? You know, like, do you think that competition is really tough?
I don't, but even then, just winning by 20 points plus for every game is still pretty impressive.
It is. Can't knock it.
I mean the competition level, okay, I get it, but that's still pretty impressive to be on focus every week with the keeping you at it. Especially, they did do it to Utah too on the road.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we got 4 and 3, Georgia and your Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah. Georgia leapfrog up too. Georgia put a beat down on Texas. I think Georgia's playing some of the best football in the nation right now as well. They're not flashy. They're not this Georgia. They're not your mom and dad's Georgia team where the D line is just wreaking havoc everywhere. This is a totally different team, but they're really, really good. And Kirby Smart knows how to coach a team, and they've got that championship. It looks like they're hitting their stride right at the right time. So I bumped them up to 4 right now. I kept them behind A&M. A&M struggled in the first half. I'm not going to lie. Everybody who wants to go watch our podcast from this morning, you can see. But we found a way to do it. So I moved us from 2 to 3, but I'm not going to take us all the way out, and I'm not going to put Georgia in front of us because we are still 10-0. And that 0 in the loss column has to stand for something, So that's why I moved us down to 3, but kept them at top. They're the top team in the SEC right now. They're the only SEC team without a loss.
And then we know who's left at 2 and 1. We got Indiana and Ohio State.
What else can you really say about it? Both undefeated, both handling business. I know you brought up some stuff I need to do some digging into regarding Ohio State and some banged up, some injuries, little bitty things like that. I need to look into that more, but that defense is still nasty. I saw a stat the other day. I don't even know if you've recognized this, but they were looking at, it was a Georgia, an Alabama, and a Michigan team. And through 9 games, all of those teams had allowed less than 7 points per game and all won the national title. And Ohio State is right there with them with that, So,
yeah,
you've got a national championship defense, of course. We'll see what goes on with it. But, yeah, Indiana's number 2 because they're the only 3 undefeated teams are in the top 3. And, can you make a flip-flop case for A&M and Indiana? You could, but to me, Indiana, handled their business last week better than A&M did. That's why I flipped them from last week. Last week, they were flipped. So I still like the matchup if that happens in the semifinals. That's why I'm having a hard time moving those 2 off 2 and 3.
Yeah, whole and whole, man, this is a great-looking bracket. I wouldn't be mad if it fell this way.
I don't know if we discussed this either, but let me throw this out real quick. These bowl matchups, the way it was explained on a different podcast I listened to was Ohio State gets first pick, Indiana gets second pick, A&M gets third pick. There's no ties. The seeds choose where they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what always was my understanding of it.
I
Because
see. I thought it was tied. I thought like the basketball tournament. How when you would go to the regional is always in this location for that year.
yeah,
You know, so I thought it was tied, but I found out it's not. So just for people that may have thought that was the case, like I don't want them to see Ohio State go into the Rose Bowl, and then Ohio State pick the Sugar Bowl or something, which they won't. But
yeah. Like if it's up to Ohio State, we're going to the Rose Bowl. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm curious where Indiana would go.
Which one is closest out of the Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, and Sugar Bowl?
I believe the Cotton Bowl is not. I think it's the Cotton Bowl, not the Peach Bowl.
The Cotton Bowl is the next round, though. The Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl, they're the next round. So the whoever advances will have to pick between the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl after the second round.
Let me see, because that's not what ESPN says.
Oh, you saying they could pick out of all 6 of them?
That's what it looks like.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought it was just for the second round. I thought the locations was set for the Final Four round, but I thought after that, then they would just let the top seed choose what bowl they wanted to go.
Here's ESPN's bracket. The first round buys, same as mine: Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia. First round games, of course, would be on campus. Quarterfinal games, which would be, so in this case right here, they've got the quarterfinal games are at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl. Those are the quarterfinal games. So the Cotton would replace the Peach. And what else do you have? The Orange would replace the Fiesta. Yeah. That's what they have for quarterfinal games.
It'll work itself out however it need to be. They get the right teams in the right bowl game,
Right. Right.
This is unfamiliar territory for Indiana. They don't have no history with any of these bowl games. So,
right.
Just start something fresh.
Like, of course, A&M would, if it gets there, A&M would have a pretty nice choice of either the Sugar or the Cotton. So we'll be fine. And then, of course, if we took the Cotton, the Georgia's going to the Sugar Bowl. So, but that'll play itself out. We'll get more detail as we get closer. But
hey, how your bracket fell, out of all these matchups, which one would you be most excited to see?
In the first round?
Yeah, in the first round. Them the only matchups we got right now. But we're gonna project and get who you think gonna win still. But out of all, before we do that, I just wanted to see out of all these matchups that we got, which one looks the most interesting to you?
Notre Dame, Oklahoma. Notre Dame, Oklahoma. That rushing attack of Notre Dame versus that defense of Oklahoma. I want to see what slugfest wins that. That would be a 17-14 type game. Just defense beating the snot out of each other. Plus it being South Bend, so you get that coldness up there, that's slugfest, old style football in the cold. It could be snowing, could be sleeting, could be ice. Who knows what's going to be going on up there? That's the game I'd be the most interested to watch.
See, I would say Oregon Ole Miss for me, man, because I love seeing. I would love to see a SEC team go on the road again in this first round and see what happens.
Well, you're seeing it with OU.
Yeah, but Notre Dame is an independent though, and that's Big Ten.
SEC to a Big Ten school. Okay.
Yeah, that's Big Ten SEC. So I think that will be real interesting. It's a lot of marbles on the table in that game. I feel like who's stronger, like strength on strength now. Like put up or shut up. You know what I'm saying?
that would give that would give either conference the bragging rights for a week or so until the next round starts.
Exactly.
We're the biggest and we're the baddest. And then, so yeah. It was a close second with that one. I will be fair.
Yeah.
But I just like that Notre Dame OU. I like that blue blood matchup. It's just something about it. The bottom of it, you got to really get into. You know what's going on there. Tech and Alabama are going to roll those two teams. I say that. North Texas is scary with that offense.
Man, they got bodied by USF.
I know. That's what makes me pretty sure they'd get blown out. But that offense is pretty electric to watch.
Hey, but listen though, Texas Tech is in unfamiliar territory too, though. Like they're not used
North
to
Texas be.
Huh?
North Texas has been terrible for years.
Yeah, but that's a group of 5 school. Like, so right. I'm gonna cut them some slack. When you a group of 5 school, you ain't got nothing to lose.
No,
you come out there and play free and loose. But Texas Tech ain't never been on this stage, man. You'd be surprised. People act different when they ain't been on this stage, man. They not the same. But that's a road game, and that crowd probably be rocking too.
Right.
But go ahead, pick your winners. You got Tech over there. You got Bama beating Georgia Tech, so we can skip those. Who would you take in the Notre Dame OU game?
I'm gonna take Notre Dame.
That's good on good. Russian versus Russian defense.
Right, but I just don't think OU has enough offense to match up with Notre Dame's defense.
I agree.
That's where the difference comes in for me. So I've got Notre Dame winning that one. Ole Miss, Oregon.
I feel like that'd be a high scoring game.
You and me, man. I think take the over. That game might be 60-62. I'd probably have to lean Oregon just because they're at home. I mean, for no other reason. If I flip those seeds, I'd probably pick Ole Miss if they were at home. But I think it's going to be a good, fun matchup.
This is another thing I don't think people understand either. When it comes to the college football playoff and these home games, this is not a conference game. So I think Oregon holds 60K somewhere in that stadium, 65, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay.
They have to give up 20,000 tickets.
Yeah.
They have to give up 20. So it's not going to be a normal home game. Like we had to give up 40,000 to Tennessee last year when we played them. So the stadium, the noise in the stadium, the noise in the stadium wasn't like how it usually is in a Big Ten game.
No. I mean, I think you got to go 60-40 on the ticket split with the opposing fan base.
So that's like 25,000.
Yeah. See, for us, it's the same as you. It's like 40,000 tickets we'd have to give up.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Oregon at home would still stand a better chance. I'm not sure how much Ole Miss would travel to Oregon, to be honest with you. So I'd have Oregon there.
All right, so in your next round, you'll have a matchup of which I think will probably be the funnest matchup out of all these second round matchups. Georgia and Texas Tech. Wouldn't that be a good game, man? Who would you pick in that game and why?
Georgia. Right now I'm taking Georgia. I think Georgia's defense can match Texas Tech's offense, and I think Texas Tech's defense can match Georgia's offense. Georgia's been there, done that. Georgia's going to have a huge experience advantage in games like this. Kirby knows the pressures and how to deal with it better than Jerry Maguire. It's not Jerry Maguire, Joey Maguire. So I think Georgia would beat them. I think it'd be a really good, fun, interesting game, but I think Georgia beats them just based on championship pedigree.
Okay. Your next matchup, you will have Texas A&M Aggies against Alabama Crimson Tide. SEC matchup. They didn't play in the regular season. Who you think will win this one?
It's hard to go against Alabama with the championship pedigree. But Alabama can't run the ball.
Facts.
You saw what OU did to Simpson when they got pressure on him. He made some mistakes. A&M's got a pretty good defensive line and pass rush. I think we're much more dynamic on offense than Oklahoma is as well, especially in the second halves. But I'd probably take A&M to knock off Alabama. I don't think this is a vintage Alabama team. Those Alabama teams that were winning titles could run the ball down your throat and just eat the clock. This team can't do that. So I'd have A&M advancing over Alabama.
Okay, then you will have a matchup with Notre Dame and Indiana.
I don't want any part of Notre Dame again, but Notre Dame is so much. I just feel like they'd be much more physical than Indiana. But I don't know if Indiana could handle Notre Dame's rushing attack. And Carr's gotten better as the year's gone on. But I might have to I'm probably going to take Notre Dame in what would be considered an upset in that game.
Okay. Then you have, I think you picked Oregon versus Ohio State. Another matchup that we didn't see, but it is a Big Ten game in the Rose Bowl. Who would you take in that game?
Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State. I don't even think it's going to be a challenge. Ohio State would. I think Ohio State beats them pretty handily. That's just my take on it. I think Ohio State's defense would, crush Oregon. I mean, I know Oregon beat y'all once last year, and then y'all destroyed them in the playoffs. I think this Ohio State defense is better than last year's, and I think this Oregon team is worse than last year's. So I've got Ohio State winning pretty handily.
They thought I was tripping when I said that before the season. I said this defense might be better this year, man. It was like, I mean, y'all lost all these guys to the NFL. I was like, yeah, but these other guys, they played a lot last year.
But you also changed DCs.
Yeah, we changed DCs
too. Sometimes that takes a little bit to adjust,
Yeah.
But, I wasn't sure the defense would be better than it was last year, but I was sadly mistaken because it is. That team is nasty.
All right, so you have a matchup of Georgia, Ohio State in the Final Four, and then you have Notre Dame and your Aggies. Who would you go with in the Notre Dame versus Texas A&M game?
Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame beats us. I think that stage might be where the lights get too bright for us. That's where I think somebody tries to do too many things, tries to make too many plays, presses, and I mean, I know we beat them earlier in the year, but this is a different Notre Dame team. It's a different A&M team too, but I think Notre Dame has the experience of being in the game last year, the national championship game. I think pushes Notre Dame over the edge with the experience factor.
That's surprising. I didn't think you would do that. But hey, baby steps. Mike Elko is starting to get his guys in there. Baby steps. I think everything is like a ladder. You gotta walk before you can run. So for y'all to even be right here in the Final Four, the next step will be next year. Return most of those guys and do it again and go even farther.
That's it. And that's my point of it is Elko's never coached in a game of that magnitude in this level. Well, he may have done it in lower levels or whatever, but coaching in a semifinal game is a lot more different. You can't get complacent and call a bunch of like soft and easy conservative plays because you'll get killed. But you can't be over aggressive because then you're going to make mistakes. So how do they handle that? I think Notre Dame's got the experience edge on them in a game like that and how to deal with it. So that's why I went Notre Dame. I do think it would be a very close game again. But
All right.
And then
Well,
I've
you
got
got Ohio State, Georgia.
Georgia's the one team I think right now that can give Ohio State all they want, if not more. It's just because of the history between the two. They're both experienced coaching staffs that know how to deal with this kind of pressure. Ohio State beats them. But I would see Georgia giving Ohio State probably the game of the year up to this point for Ohio State. I think that would be – I think that's a game that you're going to find out for probably one of the first times can Ohio State handle the pressure of being in a tight game if there's some adversity going along with it. And if Georgia gets the SEC ref, y'all lose.
In this scenario, do you think the winner of this game will let's not move that fast. Okay.
No, let's not go there because I don't. I think I know where you were going. Is this the national championship game? Is what you were going to say?
Basically,
and it's not. Ohio State is going to win against Georgia, and I have Ohio State winning it all. But I'd have Notre Dame beating Georgia in the championship game.
Okay. That's what I was going towards, but I was trying to let you cook up the national championship.
Right.
I should have doubled back on
it's
that.
All good. I mean, at this point, if you're in the Final Four with Ohio State, Notre Dame, A&M, and Georgia, I don't think anybody can complain on the matchups you get. And I think any matchup you get in the national championship game outside of maybe A&M and Georgia, which would even be good because they haven't played except once since A&M joined the SEC. They've only played one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think any of the matchups you get between those four in a national championship game would draw some good interest. Can the upstart A&M hang with the blue blood Ohio State? Things like that. So we'll see what happens. This is just what I have after this week. Of course, we got one more week. I will say I don't expect a lot of change next week because the SEC does their last non-conference week, and
yeah,
I don't see much changing this week. So
yeah, Eastern Illinois is coming to town and all that. Yeah. We get it.
We got Sanford.
Sanford,
now
Sanford,
who just fired their head coach, and then we stole their basketball coach. So they're mad at us. See, trap game.
Y'all better not.
It better not. I'll tell you right now.
So here I go, my man. I ain't do no first four out because it's kind of hard predicting first four out this far out.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things to write down, a lot of different scenarios. So,
you're busy throwing these brackets together, and that's just
extra
stuff you're going to do. I'll take mine out moving. Well, no, I did mine because I'm going week by week.
Right.
So I'll leave mine in there. But yeah.
You leave yours.
You need them.
It is so many different games and so many different possible outcomes to predict the first four out for me. I couldn't do it, bro. I could do it. I really didn't have the time to do it, honestly. But as you can see, I got North Texas, Miami in the 12-11 spot. I think Miami is that automatic bid. As this bracket play out, I'll speak a little more on why I think this scenario will play out. But North Texas, we know, we was talking before we started this about James Madison entering into the AP. I think you've seen differences between the AP and the actual committee. So I think they'll weigh that conference that North Texas is, that American conference that North Texas is in a little more. And them being a one-loss team, I think that they will put them in as the best group of five. Miami, at large bid, I think they win out. There'll be a two-loss team. They won't make the ACC championship under this theory, but I think that Notre Dame win, once it comes down to it, will weigh enough, and they will slide right into that last at-large bid right here in this bracket.
Yeah, I mean, you would know work's going to blow me up right now. Who you got in 8-9? Are we 8 or
Supposed
9
to
and
be
9? Right,
10-9.
Oh, that's fine. I meant
Yeah, I
10
just
and
skipped it because I don't know why my thing ain't have Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech, I got them winning the ACC championship.
okay.
So there go their automatic qualifier. That's why you seen Miami in there with that weight of that Notre Dame win. 9, I got Bama. I think Bama finishes the season with 2 losses. I think that's good enough for them to get a 9 seed. Um, 8, I got Oregon. Oregon, I think they beat USC, but I don't think that everybody above Oregon. I don't think Oregon has a better win than everybody that's about to be above them. So I thought 8 was a good spot for them. I like that. We got once again, we still got a Big Ten and the SEC matchup in a 9-8 spot. I think that's inevitable that we will get a Big Ten versus SEC matchup in the first round, regardless. It's just going to be who are the teams. Also on Bama side, I think once you compare their resume to some of these other SEC schools, I think they will have the least strongest resume out of all of them. So that's why I slotted them at 9. And that Florida State loss at the beginning of the year, I think that should hold some weight. As we're seeing what type of team Florida State is, if that makes sense. 7 OU. That defense is monster, man. If they can win these last 2 games, I think they play. Who do they play? I want to say
I think it's LSU this week and
in
Missouri
Missouri.
next week. Yeah,
It's Missouri next week. LSU is the last. So
yeah, maybe, yeah.
I like their rushing defense. That Missouri game could get tricky though. I think LSU don't have no offense. I think they should be fine in that game. I would be worried about this Missouri game though, just because they got some running backs over there, and I know that's the strength of your defense, but they got some running backs, so that's going to be a great game, wonderful test at the end of the season to get them prepared for this run. You want to add anything?
I was looking at their schedule real quick while you were talking. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, but because I had Oregon 8-2, but I could have made a case to say, why wouldn't Alabama be 8? I think Alabama would have better wins than Oregon would. And if they're both 10-2, I mean, Alabama beat Georgia.
Yeah, I think
you just wanted at the Big Ten home stadium. That's what it is.
Nah, that's not necessarily why. The reason why I'll be honest why I slotted it like this. You have 3 schools with higher seeds in the SEC. I don't think you could jump them up I don't think you could jump them all up like that. I think you giving 2 buys already, as you can see. You got 2 buys, you got 1 home game. You make the other team go on the road. So I'm just comparing resumes, and I don't think it will be a good look to give all the SEC schools the advantages, So that's just how I feel. Yeah, I just feel like it'll be a lot of talk out here going on if they gave SEC all advantage, So I felt like they're pretty comparable. You could switch them, you could if you wanted to. But I mean,
I guess that makes sense. I wasn't really paying attention to OU would have a home game already.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure Ole Miss is probably going to be 5 or 6 and get a home game. So that's going to be, you're right, that would be 3 home games out of the first 4 games.
And bam. I don't know why
5?
Bama. I don't know. That's supposed to be Notre Dame.
Oh.
That's supposed to be Notre Dame. See, I told you, putting these brackets together because your brain stopped working after so long. 5 is supposed to be Notre Dame.
Okay.
And 6 is Texas Tech. So I think Notre Dame, if they wasn't looking like this, they probably would have been more comparable with Miami, but they've been playing so well, I think. And I think really, if they could, they'd probably be in the top 4, but I don't think they can go over 5, So that's really supposed to be Notre Dame. It probably, I don't know, my slideshow will probably fix later because I all I did is remove some of your stuff and then put mines in and
Yeah.
was moving stuff around. I might have just accidentally copied it too fast or something. But 5 is actually Notre Dame and Texas Tech. Miami, that'll be a great matchup. I like Texas Tech. It's a case for Texas Tech to be the 5 team too, as well. But just eye test, just going off of eye test alone, Notre Dame look good, bro. You know, they look good. So I can't even, you know what I mean? I can't go against Notre Dame right now. I think they are
Mhm.
one of the 5 schools that I feel like could really go on a run and win the whole thing.
So before you reveal your 1, 2, 3, and 4, let's look at it the same we did. What's your best matchup you're most excited for in this group round?
It had to be Texas Tech, Miami. I know I'm going to get a matchup with Oregon, a good matchup with Oregon and Bama, but man, in what world have we ever seen Texas Tech and Miami though? You know, I feel like we done seen a Oregon and Bama game
Yeah.
over the last 15 years. I've never seen Texas Tech and Miami. That'll be a
Yeah.
great matchup.
I can't think that I've ever seen it. And I lived in Texas for all those years, and I don't remember Tech and Miami ever playing.
I
Unless
mean,
they were
listen,
both like 6-6 and played in like the Poinsettia Bowl or something that I didn't pay attention to.
yeah, when they first introduced this idea of a 12-team playoff, these are the type of matchups I feel like a real college football foodie was looking for. Teams that you ain't never seen been on the same field together. You know, matchups like these is what I love it for. You know, I want to see these type of matchups.
Okay, so it is
Look,
4
I
to
told you
1.
I told you I messed up on that slide.
4 to 1 is the series all-time record between Texas Tech and Miami.
5 times in 100 years.
Miami's got 4 wins. Let's see, the last time they played was 1990. So
See what I'm saying?
35 years ago.
I wasn't even born yet.
I was 15 years old, 16. I don't remember that game. I don't remember a lot from 16 either, though.
Facts. At 4 and 3, I got Texas A&M and Indiana. Up until this point, I would think that Texas A&M lost 2 games. That's why I got them slotted at 4. I do not think they will get penalized though for losing in the SEC championship game to Georgia. I do think they could possibly drop this game at the end to Texas, be a 1-loss team going into the SEC championship game, and thus far they still get a 4 seed because I think the weight of playing in the SEC championship game, it can only really help. I don't think it can really hurt you unless you're like a borderline team with like 3 losses already and then you go in there and lose and then you get kicked out of a playoff, you know. But in this aspect, I don't think it will hurt Texas A&M to go to that game and lose it. So I got them slotted there. At 3, Indiana will probably just be coming off a Big Ten championship loss to me. So it's going to be between, do you take a runner-up Big Ten a runner-up in the Big Ten championship game versus a winner of the SEC championship. So I slid them down a spot, put them at 3. And of course, you know who I got at the end. At 2, I got Georgia. And at 1, I will have Ohio State. Georgia, like I said, they'll eventually have won the SEC championship by this point. And Ohio State will be undefeated champ in the regular season and won the Big Ten championship. So that's how my bracket played out. A lot of good matchups across the board, but I do think 1 through 4, if I could put Notre Dame 4, I would, because I think those 4 are the best teams in the country. Texas A&M not too far off as that 5th team, but I think when you look at what the reseeding was meant for, I think this will be a perfect bracket as I look at it and what I think the final results of just knowing and seeing a lot of these teams across the country. I think this is what we're going to probably see, something like this. I think it is still slippage it's still slippage to be had because if say a Miami team chokes up and loses one of these games, I think that's where you will see BYU slide back into this bracket. You won't see Miami. You only get one ACC, so it's I think it's up to play about and possibly even a fifth SEC team, and that's where I think Texas will still be alive in that instance as well. So I guess some of my two first four is out, two of them at least. I had to do some more digging on who I think who else will be right there, but
This
those are two teams I thought of on the top of the head.
and this is a good question before we go further with your bracket. This is something. Does a 3-loss Texas team get in if it comes down to some chaos? Does a 3-loss Texas team get in over a 2-loss Vanderbilt team, even though they beat them head to head?
I've
3 losses and 2 losses.
Yeah, but I've already said this. Vandy they won't have not one top 25 win.
No, they won't. You're right.
So, and Texas has the head to head. And yes, Texas does have that bad loss to Florida. And I can't just erase that out of my mind. But when you even look at those teams, the eye test comes in. Texas is a better football team. So
do you go a 9-3 Texas over a 10-2 Michigan?
No, because at that point Michigan will have a win over Ohio State. So I couldn't put them in over.
See, that's what me and one of the guys, Doug, was going back and forth, and I told him, "Look, dude, there's so many scenarios for teams to be 10-2 that y'all are. You have to beat Arkansas, beat A&M, and then hope for chaos."
Facts. And even a game this weekend we about to have this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
This Oregon USC game is a big time game for real.
Right.
Like because if USC can beat Oregon, and both of those teams can win out. Now you're adding a fourth seed from the Big Ten. I think Oregon's going to win that game. That's why my bracket reflects that. But you don't know. The game is played on the field.
Well, like I told him, you better just worry about going and winning your games and then see what happens.
No, facts.
I mean, I said right now I know 3 schools that are definitely 4 schools that are really locked in right now. You know what? That's not really possible, though, Zay. Your bracket. Well, you don't even have Ole Miss in here.
Oh, I did miss Ole Miss, didn't I?
And they're locked in. They're going to be 11-1.
Well,
so would
you
bump Miami?
You're gonna have to slide Miami out. That's all that is. You have to slide Miami out.
Man, that sucks too. I did like that Texas Tech Miami matchup too.
In that case, if you had to slide, I think you'll just replace everything. I think you'll just drop 8 down. So Ole Miss will get the 8 seed.
You'd have to Oregon.
No. I will move Ole Miss to the 7 seed, Oklahoma to the 8 seed, Oregon to the 9 seed, Bama to the 10 seed, and then Georgia Tech. No, I wouldn't do that. I would just take one of them SEC schools and put them down there with Miami.
Yeah. Easiest way to do it for the bracket people looking along that want to watch it would be just slot Ole Miss in at 11 right now.
You can't do that.
Why not? The OU is 7.
You can't. The reason why you can't do that is because they're going to be 11-1.
Right, but they have no really powerful wins either.
They're in the SEC, Sean.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
They have not played anybody.
It don't matter, bro. The essence of them being
being the SEC guy, then what I would tell you makes the most sense.
What?
Would move OU, since they were out last week, move them to 11 and put Mississippi at 7.
No, what will make the most sense is if you move Georgia Tech to 11.
Okay.
You slid Oregon to 10. You put Notre Dame up against Bama, and then you
Okay.
slotted Ole Miss at 5.
Okay. You can do that.
You see that? Yeah, that makes more sense.
Notre Dame being in the 5 makes it hard to avoid conference
Cross matchups. Yeah.
Right.
That's why I said, listen, I threw my bracket together in about 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Because like I was at Roosters first, watching my Buccaneers and my Buckeyes at the same time. When you had sent me your thing, I was at Roosters. You know what I mean?
Dang. Yeah. So okay, for everybody watching, we'll go through this one by one. We're going to put Mississippi in at 5, right?
Oh, I could put it on the screen.
Okay.
Let me put it on the screen real quick. AP poll though. James Madison, you said came in at 21, right?
Let me go pull it up while you're messing with that real quick, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. Yeah, AP poll came out today. Top 3 didn't change. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M. Georgia moved up 1. Ole Miss moved up 1. Pretty much everybody moved up all the way down to Oklahoma moved up 3 from 11 to 8. Notre Dame held tight at 9. Bama fell 6 spots down to 10. Lots of other people moved up in front of them. After them, BYU, Vanderbilt, Utah. Texas fell 7 slots from 10 to 17. And then this is where you get your big movement of teams shuffling in and out from 17 or 18 down. Michigan held tight at 18. Virginia moved up to 19. 7-3 Tennessee ranked. Yeah. A 7-3 Tennessee team ranked does not need to be happening. A 7-3 Texas team, I can get because of their loss to Ohio. I can get that. Tennessee needs to be out of the rankings, though. A 7-3 Missouri team needs to be out of the rankings. They're at 23. James Madison moved up 3 spots to 21. North Texas came into the rankings at 22. Tulane is in at 24, and Houston jumped in at 25. Louisville, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and South Florida all fell out. Your Navy is your next first one. Others receiving votes area is Navy, Illinois, SMU are the next 3 in line. I've never seen a poll this late in the year from the AP that had 3 of the group of 5 teams in it like that.
Yeah, so look, this is another thing too that you gotta account for when you look at this this setup. This past week, Ole Miss came in as Notre Dame came in at 9, and Ole Miss came in at 7. So I don't know. I don't know. I think this looks a little more correct to me, because when it come out on Tuesday, I think you gotta kind of bunch and make Alabama and OU kind of bunch together wherever they're at in the rankings, maybe like 9-8 or 10-9 or however you want to do it, but they shouldn't be more than 2 spots away from each other just because of the head-to-head that just happened,
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to push OU all the way up.
No.
And then you said, you don't. Who do they play? Oh, Missouri, LSU.
Yeah.
Bama got Auburn and Cupcake.
Yeah.
Ole Miss should win their last game. Texas A&M.
Yeah, they got Mississippi
State.
Got
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
A rivalry game, but they should win. They should win that game. Texas A&M still got Texas and a Cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this looks pretty much there. Yeah, this is where it was supposed to be at right here.
Yeah.
Forbid that I left Ole Miss. In this scenario though, Miami got pushed out.
Yeah.
So you still got one ACC, one Big 12. You had two ACCs in there.
Okay. So
Yeah,
now the reconfigured. What are you looking at the most intriguing matchup now?
I mean, easily Notre Dame and Bama.
I mean,
Think.
that's the easy one to take, I think.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Bama, two bloods, story programs. You know, that Oregon and OU game would be a good game. I think. You know, them are two different styles as well too. You know, Notre Dame and Bama is too, but just
Yeah.
the icons. You know, that gold helmet and that number on the side of that helmet. That you know what I mean. Everybody be tuned into that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I think that's easily the best matchup. I mean, most intriguing in the first round. Um, I'd probably tune into that Georgia Tech game just for a little bit, just to watch Haynes King against that defense.
Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm gonna watch every one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted now.
That's true. But if you tell me I only can pick one or two, I mean, you know. But yeah, I'm going to watch them all. But that Texas Tech Georgia Tech game could be intriguing with that Haynes King and that defense. Ole Miss North Texas. I mean, I don't know. North Texas could probably score on Ole Miss. I mean, with that, I mean,
Hey, listen. Out of all these teams in the first round, North Texas got a shot out of Ole Miss outside of Georgia Tech. That's the one team I feel like if they got matched up with.
Yep.
Hey, if they just if they watch enough film and they know what they watching on film, they could scheme up.
Right. Yeah. All right, so let's run through yours then. 12-5, I'm assuming you're going to take Ole Miss, though.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss. Yeah, maybe.
I'm not going to lie. If that matchup happens, I might have to go hit the little sports book and put something on North Texas just because.
Just to see, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I go Ole Miss though, man.
Yeah. Then you got move over to Tech and Georgia Tech.
Tech. Georgia, Texas Tech. Not
Come on,
Texas Tech.
That's like, I'll take the Bulldog.
Hey, that's like I got 100% chance to win this one if I say Tech.
Right. That's it. Oh, you need me to say
Texas
Georgia
Tech,
Tech,
man.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas Tech, man. I love their defensive line, man. That's one of the greatest defensive lines I think I've seen in college football.
I like that linebacker.
That linebacker, I include him when I say line. I kind of include him because when they bring blitzes, somebody's getting home.
Right. Then they gave him a rushing touchdown last week too.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, trying to pad that stats.
Heisman, they trying to get into the Heisman ceremony.
That's what happened with A&M. They put their running back in and tried to have him throw a pass to Marcel Reed to get in for a receiving touchdown.
Yeah,
and it was fumbled. I was like, "What are we doing? Just go in and score, whatever." So, move up to the 10-7 game. Oh, this would be at Norman, Oklahoma. So Oregon got to travel down to the OU over there. What are you looking at that?
I'm gonna go Oklahoma. Yeah, that defense is another level, man.
I think that's better than I was.
Yeah, I said top 5.
Yeah.
Earlier on stream.
Yeah.
And we are pre-recording this, y'all. This is Sunday the 16th. I said that earlier on the live stream that they might be top 3.
Yeah.
They're that good. Like they've been carrying OU.
Well, people don't realize too. I mean, they didn't have their best player last Saturday against Alabama. So, all right, that leads us down to the final matchup of the first round, which would be played in South Bend, Indiana, where Alabama would roll up to take on Notre Dame. That's a classic matchup right there.
Man, I'm gonna go Bama in a close one.
Okay.
Uh, I thought OU was a bad matchup. I think OU's defensive line is a bit better than Notre Dame's. I don't think they'll be able to get as much pressure on Ty Simpson and get him off schedule. I do like Notre Dame's secondary though. So, and I do kind of I'm going Notre Dame, man.
Dude, Bama can't
I'm
run the ball, dude.
I'm going Notre Dame. You gonna have to be able to run the ball in this game, bruh.
You can't
And
sit
on
back and
top of that,
throw against that Notre Dame secondary.
yeah, I was about to say, and on top of that, that secondary for Notre Dame is it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another bad matchup for Bama.
How many? I'd like to go back and rewatch these and see how many times we've made a prediction and then one of us say something to the other, and we like, you know what? I'm changing because we like
Because it's like a light bulb come on. You like,
right.
hold on, you getting. This is just like off the top though. Like this ain't premeditated.
The difference with it too is though, I may follow the SEC closer than you, but you'll follow the Big Ten closer than me. See, so it may be that I know more about these SEC schools than maybe
Yeah,
you
but
would. You know,
I do watch as
right?
much football as I can on
Me too.
Saturday, and I watch games Monday through Wednesday.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me,
I go back and watch another
yeah,
game each day or something,
I do
or
too.
another 2 games. So, but yeah, Notre Dame. I said they're one of 5 teams that I think can win the championship right now. So I couldn't even pick against them right now. I want to see them again anyway, so I could talk shit to post game. Hey, I want
Yeah,
to see everybody's team just so I can talk shit to y'all.
right. That's it. I mean, and I'm one. I'll talk it back, and I'm gonna be like, well, whatever. When we lose, I'm just gonna be like, yep, we lost.
Yep, and it's gonna be
Um,
time to wash that jersey. God damn it!
yeah, finally. Um, So we're going to shift over. Let's start with 5-5. You got Ole Miss beating North Texas, so that'll shift them up to play A&M.
Yep, and I have A&M in that game. Popping
Okay.
Ole Miss and Lane. Send Lane home. Bye, Lane.
That's the one thing I'll say about that is both teams don't really have the pedigree of being there, so there's no one team's got an experience advantage, you know.
Yeah.
So
As a whole, though, I think Texas A&M will be more battle tested up to this point, though.
I think
I
we're
don't
more
really.
physical too.
Yeah, physical. I mean, I like Lacey, but I think y'all's run game is a little bit better. Um, I would take their quarterback over Marcel Reed, though. I would take
Oh,
Chambliss over Reed. Um,
yeah.
but y'all's receiver corps is better than theirs, So, and I don't know, it's something about y'all, bro. Y'all know how to hit a switch in the second half too.
I wish they quit.
Put 4 quarters together, man. That's probably
And
one of
if
the
they do, it's going to be scary for whoever's on the other side if they put all 4 quarters together.
facts.
Um,
This is where you want to do it right here,
right,
though.
right. That's what I've said before. Y'all can this. You've heard me say it. We would peak in September, October under Jimbo Fisher. We seem to be getting more into that November peakish,
Yeah,
which looks bad coming off what happened just this past weekend. But I'm going to chalk that up to every team has a terrible game. You're due one every year. You can get one mulligan, but I'd rather it happen then than later in the year.
right.
So next you've got Tech beating Georgia Tech, Texas Tech, moving on to face Indiana. This is a
So
matchup right here.
yeah, I said Texas Tech is my dark horse. Um, I think both of these teams could go on runs and win the national championship. I think Texas Tech got enough talent to win it all. But health plays a big part in football. Tech is a little banged up. Indiana's a little banged up. I will really take the more healthy team, but for purposes right now, I would take Indiana in that game. I think they got the experience they needed last year.
True. They got him. You got OU beating Oregon and moving on to face Georgia. game we didn't see this year in the SEC. So that's a first time matchup right there.
Yeah, I think Georgia is humming. They're rolling.
Yeah.
I think they hitting their stride, man. I think we seeing Kirby do Kirby things, So I'm going Georgia. I don't think OU ready for all that. If it was ever a kryptonite for these Big 12 schools, I think it's Georgia.
Yeah. Move over. You've got Notre Dame beating Alabama, setting up a rematch in the quarterfinals, with a rematch of last year's national championship game.
Yeah, that'd be a fun game. I think it'll be a close game, maybe a one-score game. I think Ohio State prevailed though. I don't think we even ramped it up yet, for real, honestly. So it's kind of hard for me to really project my team because our foot is not on the pedal at all. Like, and Ryan Day already said it, so I don't know. We could possibly blow out anybody we play right here, because you got to think we'll probably be off for about 2 weeks by now.
Yeah,
and we'll be just studying whoever we about to meet.
Oh, you'll be healthy,
and
as healthy as you can be. But my question is there any concern? I know there's concern, but any real major concern being that that's probably going to be the most physical team you face this year?
They won't be.
You don't think they would be?
I think. Well, they could be up there with one of the most physical teams we face, but we face Texas, who I think is pretty physical. They got out physical this weekend, but they're pretty physical. And then we will have faced the Michigan and the Indiana team up to this point, who are both physical. So I don't think I don't know. When you turn on the tape, we are very, very physical.
Oh yeah, y'all are.
We want to play physical football.
Yeah,
so.
For sure, y'all are. I just meant, the way Notre Dame's powerful, that rushing attack with just leaning on, but
I think they get some. I think they get some stuff off in the run game for sure, though. Yeah. But I think their problem gonna come is when they got to throw the ball. I don't think they're just gonna be able to rush all over us like they be doing everybody else, and I think that's where they're gonna run into their problem.
Yeah, force Carr to beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we got all that set. You got a matchup then in the semis would be, we'll start on the right side of the bracket. We're going to have, you took Indiana and Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I think they humming now. I think they just hot. I think they keep it moving.
Yeah. I mean, there ain't no argument there. Over here, we got A&M and Ohio State. Pretty much, we know we're going to go see Ohio State, Georgia. I know you're not going to pick A&M to beat Ohio State. So,
oh man, yeah, we knew I was going to say Buckeyes all the way through, huh?
Well, I mean, I'll be fair. You have the best team in the nation right now, but you're one that knows that one or two misplaced injuries and this whole thing can just fall off the rails.
No.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean,
it's one injury that I think that could derail our season, and that's our quarterback.
But
if something happened to Julian Zaiah, I like Lincoln Kingholtz, but he hasn't had no reps at all for real this year.
Deer in the headlights in this big stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it.
That's just my thing. I mean, you're one that if there was something going on, you're not the one that's just going to pick Ohio State because you're the homer. If they were the 11 seed in this bracket, you're not going to say they're going to run all. You'll know you go realistically though.
Listen, I know the weaknesses when I see weaknesses.
Right.
That's why I pointed out. We was playing Devin Sanchez, and he's our fourth corner. We really play him like he's a third corner, though, a lot of the time, so we can move Lorenzo Styles around. And that's why I was like, man, they better. Hey, listen, they better have extreme confidence, or they know they're gonna be able to keep on repping this kid to where he's gonna be ready to play in the playoff. Because if not, somebody's gonna torch him,
Yeah.
and it's gonna hurt us in the most biggest point in our season. And they gonna be having all this faith in this freshman, and he gonna get torched. I'm trying to tell you, and it's good. It's probably gonna happen against a team like Texas A&M or something. You know, somebody that got experienced receivers. Notre Dame, they got experienced receivers. You don't want to see no freshman out there after he just got torched by UCLA. Man, UCLA is one of the worst
Right.
teams in the Big Ten. Like he got
Right.
torched. I'm telling you, turn on the film. He
Yeah, I'm
got
gonna go.
torched.
That's one I want to go. I was flipping back and forth because it was on the same time as the Texas Georgia game. But every time I seemed to flip over, it was, UCLA had the ball or something. And so I was like, okay, and I'd watch for a little bit and flip. But I'm gonna go back and rewatch it. I'm gonna go
We've been
find it.
having we've been having another problem too. Like our right guard, Tegert to Shabola, he has been playing awful this season. And I think we might have just found the answer against UCLA. We play Van Sickle at that right guard position, and he played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, so yeah, you got to look around though. You got to find depth, especially these linemen, man. They can get rolled up on so easy. You better have some offensive line depth. I'm nervous right now. I'm trying to wait and find out. Our running back Moss is out. Reuben Owens went down last weekend. So I'm waiting to see what the status is of Reuben. I think he's okay, but still, we'd be down our 1 and 2 running backs in our running back room. We'd be under our 3, 4, and 5 running backs. That's not a good thing coming this late of the year, but I mean, Moss will be back. Moss will be back by the Texas game, I believe, is what the game plan is, to get him back by Texas. And I think Owens, I'll find out more about Owens this week. But hey, it's just, that's a pretty good bracket. And everybody remember, Zay's bracket is not based on last week. It's based on what he thinks is going to happen at the end.
Right on, man. Listen, we got this AP. Can you see that?
It's very, 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 very small. That's
better?
Easier to read. Yeah.
All right. These APs don't really mean nothing, man. It's just a good talk, though. You got 10-0 Ohio State, 11-0 Indiana, Texas A&M, 10-0. I think all 3 of them teams are punched into the playoff. Ole Miss as well at 10-1, and Texas Tech at 10-1. I don't think Texas Tech is punched in, or we do think that's the best team from the Big 12, man. So whoever win that conference championship game, I think is punched in. Do you think, though, if Tech loses the Big 12 championship, that they could still get in?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, as a 2-loss,
I think as long as that loss is to BYU and BYU wins out from here forward, if you go into that conference championship game and you lose as Tech to a team that's 9-3, and you get beat pretty handily by that team in the championship game, like say a Utah had 3 losses but got in somehow, which can't happen. But I think if BYU wins out and they beat Tech, especially if it's close, I think both of them are in. I think the ACC, you're not going to have that luxury. I think whoever wins it gets in, and then Miami's still sweating for an at-large. That's how I see the ACC breaking. Now, if the ACC gets 2 and the Big 12 get 2, this gets real interesting.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But you have to look at the possibility.
Yeah, it's always a
and
possibility.
I say the ACC getting 2, meaning the champion and Miami. So I'm not saying 2 plus Miami.
No, you said if the Big 12 and the ACC get 2. I said
as far as I say the ACC, that would be the champion and Miami.
Yeah, but I don't think both of them conferences is getting to is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Out
If
of over
BYU beats Tech, they're in. You're going to leave a 10-2 Tech team out?
possibly, yeah, over an SEC team, yeah. That's what you get for losing your conference championship.
But see,
But
that's what I was telling
I
my
think
buddy Doug is that's the worst case scenario for Texas because you're out.
I think Texas Tech would get in that time in that point, but then Miami wouldn't get in
I
because they
have
didn't play. They didn't play in a conference championship game. Yeah, I don't think you get penalized for losing in a conference championship game if a scenario comes down to that.
right.
You know
See,
what I'm
I don't.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know what the
But
crazy thing is? Here, you want a crazy scenario that we like to throw out?
what?
Let's say the SEC. I mean, I'm sorry, the ACC gets Georgia Tech and Miami in, right?
Right.
The Big 12 gets 2, right? We're just going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the SEC gets 4 because you're going to have the 3 locks, well, whatever. So if the SEC gets 4, the Big 10 gets 3, 2 and 2 from the ACC, and one group of 5. There is no Notre Dame. There is no other bids.
Right.
That is insane. You could leave out Notre Dame. That included leaving out Oklahoma.
That's possible too, though, because
I know.
what do the committee value?
Right.
Like, will they value head to head? I keep saying this too, like, and I think people think it's crazy. But in my point is when you're talking about head to head, you have to weigh the head to head because then what's the point of scheduling these games? There's no point. Like
Right.
everybody might as well just play whatever games they got in their conference, bro. Or it's just no point to schedule hard outside of your conference. It's just no point at all. What's the point? They said coming into the year that they were going to weigh people's strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The head to head matter then, right? The
Right.
head to head
It
matter
has
when you
to.
play a conference game. I don't care how bad somebody been looking lately. They won on the same field. They won on the same field that they was playing the other team with. That's why I was like head to head, bro. Like it's definitely an instance where I could see that possibly playing out. I just don't think it's likely,
No.
but it's possible.
Yeah. I mean, it is a possible scenario. And I can tell you is if that happens, as soon as the national championship game ends, there is going to be an expansion to 16 within 24 hours.
I wouldn't, or there's going to be rumors about it. I wouldn't doubt it.
If Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas, USC, Michigan, Vanderbilt all were 10-2, Texas was 9-3, and got left out, bro, you're going to have some upset people. It's funny to think about. This is just things. I mean, I obviously need to get a life, I think, because I just sit around and start looking at things going, I wonder if this can happen. And then I look and it can, and I'm like, wow. Just like we thought we were saying last week. What were we saying? Duke may win the conference and then the ACC gets nobody. It's things you got to look at. These are possibilities. So you're saying there's a chance. It's exactly what it is.
Man, and so are you a fan of 16?
Hmm?
Are you a fan of 16?
I prefer 12, but I prefer 12 because I think if you go to 16, you start getting a little bit too. I think you start getting too many 9-3 teams mixed in now. And to me, 12 teams, 10-2 record would be the way to go. That's just my opinion. I think something needs to be done with the. I think the group of 5 needs to be eliminated from this. They're not going to win the national championship. Let's just be real. Okay. They might win a game once in a while, but they're not going to. There's no way in North Texas is going to go through an Ole Miss, an A&M, and an Ohio State, and then Georgia. That's not going to happen.
See, I think the underdog always deserves a spot at the table.
I get they need a spot, I can understand that. But if you want to keep it at 12, if you go to 16, the definitely group of 5 gets in. if you keep it at 12, I'm not sure the group of 5 needs to stay in. I think you need to have a minimum 2 locked bids from the Big Ten and SEC minimum. The 2 conference championship contestants, the winner from the ACC and the Big 12, and then fill in the rest with at large. And the ACC and Big Ten are going to dominate that bracket.
See, I think we need to go to more of a 14 NFL style playoff.
I could get with 14 too. The 1 and 2 get a bye for the first round.
Yeah,
I could get with that one. I think 16. If you go to 16 this year, you're going to bring in a Vanderbilt, a Michigan, a Texas, USC. Some of these teams are going to have 3. Some might even have 4 losses, and they're going to get into the playoffs. That's just. I think that's too watered down for my taste.
Yeah, I think they need to run. I don't know why, but like why the rules are so different, like from college football to the NFL. They need to kind of model the whole thing after that, because that's what it is basically. It's like the G League.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have no problem with 14 and the 1 and 2 get a bye. I have no problem with that at all.
I'm even thinking like to the point where everything need to be reseeded too after you go through the first round. Reseed, that number 1 team should play the worst seed every time, just like the NFL does it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you go to 16, you would do that anyway.
Yeah, but no, you wouldn't. Not
well,
technically.
No, because you could have upsets. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, 16, I think, just makes it too watered down. 12 is hard. But 12, I like 12, but I could get with 14. We're going to adapt no matter what they do anyway. It's going to go to 16.
We're going to watch football regardless, dog.
It's not like we're going to all turn it off.
Yeah.
But like 12, I like 12, but doing stuff like this with you and I, 12 is hard. If this was a 16-team bracket, we could probably fill this out like that.
Facts.
But a 12, and then you got to follow rules of conference champions, and it gets a lot more difficult than you think. I mean, versus just throwing one together and saying, here we go. I mean, to actually put some thought and try to find out the matchups. And
yeah, they got more brain power than us too. It's a whole bunch of
they got a whole well, I think they do.
Nah,
let's not give them too much credit now. That's the whole thing though, is we're just 2 dudes trying to put together something that we think what our knowledge of college football tells us this is what it should be. And it means about as much as an eraser you find on the ground outside. It's about the same. There's just nothing. That's just our opinions on what we do. But I think we try to do it right to where we're not just making up stuff. We're actually trying to do something that we see as right. Like we know what we're talking about. We're not just, hey, let's put SMU in the semifinals. No. So it's hard. It's harder to do than people think. I can tell you that much.
Facts. Well, all right, you got anything else to add, man?
No. This will be hitting everybody's stream tomorrow?
5 p.m.
Just follow all the dudes. Follow the whole crew. Go find all of us. Subscribe, like, share. I mean, come on.
All the channels been scrolling at the bottom the whole time. WTP for Life. That's Rob. Level Up Sports 10. That's JoJo Mossberg Parlay. Poe of the Blitzberg podcast. Post game with a Post Game 86 podcast. And then you got City League TV of the City League TV YouTube channel, and he's on Facebook as well. That's SEC Sean with that whack Texas A&M hat on. You can find him on YouTube, and I'm FanDuel Zaiah, man. Y'all know what it is. Hey, like T1 say, we was in the building, now we out. Peace.
There we go.